Hey folks, welcome back to the layout. I think today is it's gonna be one of those days where I do a little bit of scenery, some static grass, and um, this turf stuff here was my first attempt at scenery, and for what it wasn't too bad, um, but pretty much, within a month or two after putting in all of this um, ground foam. Basically, I took a food processor and took a bunch of chunks of ground foam that I had at different, shades of green and blended it all up and basically took out the pulverized bits and just spread it around everywhere. Figured better than looking at the green foam that's everywhere else, because where I sit at my table, this is the first thing you see. So I think it's time to change out this stuff for some static grass. There's another part of my layout that has static grass on it, which is right here, and I feel like once you see this part and then you go over to the other section, it just doesn't look as good. So we're gonna try to make this even, and we'll try to see if we can't get a nice match to the other static grass, and that way this whole little scene over here will be nice and more complete looking, I guess. But I'm going to take the engine house off and the fence around here and just break out the old shop vac and see how much of this will come off. Another thing too, you'll notice how shiny all this is. There's like a layer of plastic on here. You definitely want to rip that layer off before you do this, because I didn't do it on the other section over there, and even though I did a layer or two of brown paint, the shine still comes through. So if the light is at just the right angle, you can see the ground is shiny underneath, and that's obviously not realistic. So definitely want a matte finish so you can see how this stuff just peels. I could probably just peel this whole layer off, but I don't want to pull my track up, so I'm just going to hoover it, and then I'll take an X-Acto knife and cut all this out, and then that way it'll be that nice matte foam. Paint it a little bit with some acrylic brown paint, and while the paint's still wet, fire up the static grass applicator, and we'll see how she turns out. So let's get moving. Alright, I apologize for any volume from here on out. Vacuum's going on. Turn your volume down. Alright, just a quick note. You can see just using a layer of wet paint, some of this actually held down pretty well. So, you don't need to use like scenic cement as a base or whatever else people use. Just put on a nice wet thick layer of paint and acrylic paint. I don't know what else will work. I use acrylic, but it's not too bad. I'm just trying to get the loose stuff off so I don't make a mess. I'm obviously cutting all this up anyway, but let me carry on, and we'll get the batteries charging here because the camera's gonna die, and we'll see how she turns out. Alright, there it is, all the skin that all the old turf was on, and here it is all de-turfed. I got some scrap paper here to make well, not a stencil, but just a little cutout so I can do like bigger tufts of grass and stuff. I got my homemade double D static grass applicator. I got some acrylic paint here. This is spice brown. I don't know. It's brown. And I had this is the static grass. It's just in another container. I believe this is Hecky static grass. It's definitely a European kind, but I don't have the label from the bag anymore. I tried to look for it. I can't find it. So let's get some paint down and let's get our static grass on. Alright, here it is with all the static grass on. Kinda see that looks a lot better than the ground foam. I got a bunch of the ties to clean up, obviously, still. Sorry. So next I'm gonna clean up the ties and put down the ballast. Let's get a different angle here. Maybe you can... Yeah, no. But she's getting there. Well, there it all is. Just some homemade scenic cement, a little alcohol. I got a ballast spreader, but it doesn't really work all that great. I forgot to show this longer grass earlier that I was using. Oops, sorry. It's like a lot longer. And I just got all the scenic cement on here now, and I'm just waiting for it to dry. Since this is a yard kind of area, I don't really expect the ballast to be looking all that great. Again, this layout is really just an experiment for me to see what I'm good at and what I suck at, so whenever I do build a real actual layout, I'll have experience. You can see all the droplets of liquid cement still, or scenic cement, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, this is one of those good enough for me jobs. There's plenty better static grass jobs out there than this. I even got over here too. I mean, you can watch any Kathy Mellett video or any other video on YouTube on how to static grass, or what real static grass actually looks like. But I just wanted to get rid of the clump foliage. Something a little bit more in this era, century. Clump foliage is kind of old school. So that's how it came out. I mean, the whole place has to look scruffy. I mean, anytime there's one of these, usually there's scruff involved. So here's the old. This is the first piece I did with static grass. This is a fold down section right here, so you can get to the closet behind here. So there's going to be a big line between there and there, but the grass seems to be very similar in patchiness and fullness, I guess. So yeah, it comes over here. This is the area that I've already done. Like sprinkled some clump foliage over here just to see how it looked, and I actually kind of don't like it, but now there's nothing I can do about that, so oh well. But that's pretty much all the time I got for the layout today. So with that, definitely appreciate y'all watching, and hopefully
here in the future, I'll figure out what it is that I want to do with this layout, and I'll do it. But in the meantime, I'm just having fun experimenting with different products and things, seeing how they all work out. So that way when I'm ready to build a real big boy layout, it'll come out better the first time.